بالعلم بل بالأدب تنال أعلى الرتب فعش حياة العلماء وقرأ صنوف الكتب.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I welcome you and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge, to increase us in knowledge and practice and understanding and ability to convey and practice accordingly. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also to lead us to do the things that are pleasing to Him. Uh, Today is lesson 31, and we are discussing the idea of how anyone, as an individual or groups or community or bigger than that, can translate or transform ideas, visions into living reality. And this is we are taking examples that people have attempted, or actually people and organizations and reformers and scholars, leaders, always this is their agenda, their goal, that how we once we have the idea and the vision, how we move from there, from books, from thinking, from talking, from sitting idle, how we move from that status into translating those ideas into living reality. So last time we talked a little bit about triple IT, and we learn lessons. This is the purpose is to learn lessons, and the other purpose is to see if maybe unintentionally those institutes have common ground, or they are integrated and they are unaware of it. Intentionally, we know they are not. Every institute have started their own ideas and visions, and they have utilized plan and resources to translate that into living reality for themselves and for their targeted audience or groups or field or organizations. So once we study each one of them, we're going to take few of them. Number one, as we said, triple IT. And then number two is ISPU. That's we are going to discuss today. And the third one is Yaqeen Institute. And the fourth one is Qalam Institute. And the fifth one is Zaytuna College. We're going to study this because there are many. And I think these are good models. So once we learned exactly what is their ideas and vision, how they went about moving from theory into practice, and then we'll have that consolidated in one agenda that is hoping to build on the positive and the common things among these, try to bridge or to integrate their work and to fill up the gap. So today, the ISPU, this is an institute, was established in 2003 in Dearborn, Michigan. And this institute basically focus on social policy and understanding. Their objectives basically research educating and training Muslims to support well informed dialogue and decision making. So that is the area where they are focusing. Mainly, they have done a lot of quantitative research. It is credible, and they basically brought some thinkers and Muslims and scholars to analyze this data that they collect and to forecast some meaning and some insight into it. Um, so they focus to um, generate a generation of Muslims who are well informed, can fill up the gap in media and civic engagement and political engagement and democratic process. And that's why they come up with the surveys and then analyze it, then put it into workshops, and then move from there to basically train those who are interested. So today we have looked to the last report, and it was a report about the election of 2024. And I have here a few points that are basically insights from their report. Number one, that the statistics that they have is 50% went of Muslims voters went to Harris, 31% went to Trump, 12% went to Steve. So this is in the background of two matters. Number one, Gaza crisis and problem and war and conflict. And the second one is Trump second term. These were the background, political background. These were the motives. These were the inciters to get Muslims moving that way. 50% here and 31% over there, and 12% the third one. And so when you look to this number, you can tell there are two ideas dominating. One, the moral value, which is the cause of the war in Gaza. And the second one is the pragmatic idea. So they are, uh, these two made the Muslim voters to basically divide into these three areas. Some they go, we got to stand moral, and we have to punish the Democratic Party. Some they say we get to be pragmatic, and you can do only what you can do. And now it is over, but the lessons should continue. Where those motives leading, guiding the voters into the right decision, or not, you get the second chance is coming soon. That is number one. Number two, uh, it shows that really Muslims are awakening, but they are fragmented. I mean, the percentage of Muslims who participated and get engaged in all the process of election is growing, and it is getting bigger. But as we can see, they are separate entity, and they just work according to whatever ideas they have and visions they have. The third one is that also this is indicating that Muslims has been transformed from just demographic voting. I mean, just like any other minorities, demographic voting to value driven activism. And this is unique, and this is not applicable to any other groups, minorities, I mean. They are, in most way, they are demographic voting. If you take any other group. The fourth one that we can read, that hostility creating solidarity. The problems from 9/11 and what comes after it, basically it was a phase of hostility toward Muslims, and actually by not just certain group, by many or maybe majority of Americans. That hostility basically created solidarity. The Muslims have stepped back, absorbed the shock, and decisively decided to move in a positive direction. Number five, um, either they have to silently suffer the hostility or to consciously show resilience. And that's exactly the choice they made. Means there are people basically went to isolate, and or they decided with that hostility to just leave, or isolation is to shield yourself or disengaged. uh, Muslims, majority of them, more than 90%, they have decided consciously to show resilience. Means we are determined and we are here, and we're here for good, and we are here to be positive, confident contributors. Um, Number six, the good news that the youth in Muslim communities, 26% age between 18 and 24. And these are the time where it is critical, is going to indicate what choice they are going to take, those youth. Um, so it is an opportunity for the youth to also show resilience and think deeply before they move to a certain direction or adopt certain ideology, or basically they go fragmented, and that is something scary. And we will discuss that in another separate talk, inshallah ta'ala. Uh, Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 8, Muslims exceeding any other group in town halls, volunteering, political contact. And this is something unique that other groups, you don't see much or as equal number of them into these areas. Town halls with Muslims basically participating and engaged, and the number is bigger than any other groups, and also volunteering, political contact. Um, that's indicating to us that they are engaged, Muslims, they are participating, but they are not culturally assimilating. They still bring their culture with them into the town hall, into the place where they volunteers, into their political contact. They bring their their identity, their deen, are actually, or at least minimally, their culture. So they are not melted into this melting pot. So number 9, also we discover from this that faith uh, anchor the participation, but not as a barrier. Means uh, there are few who just basically think the faith preventing them from being part of the larger society and part of the process of democracy. But we see now, reading the action of Muslims and the past experiences, that faith as an anchor, where from there, this is the base, this is their strength, this is the tie that they always go back to. But it is not barring them, not hindering them from being part of the participation or the process of the society. So also, so it is enhancer, not hinderer. The faith is, many people, the incompatible. The Islam is not competitive or not compatible to American ideology or cultural democracy. It is practically shown the other way around. It is enhancer, and it is also, it is an anchor, and it is present. Number nine, Gaza crisis and war and conflict unified the consciousness of Muslims like never before. All spectrums. Uh, any other issues, you find divisions, you find groups, you subgroups. This issue basically unified the consciousness, the awareness, the dhamir of the Muslims throughout the spectrum of Muslims from A to Z. And also uh, transform Muslims voters into moral actors. All of them, all of them, right or left, liberal or conservatives or middle, they become moral actors. And the morality of the issue uh, cause the Muslims to come together unintentionally. And finally, Muslims no longer invisible in any front or aspect or area of the society. They are basically loudly heard and visibly seen in all aspects and all matters and affairs of the country. Also, they are not naive anymore. They are not going to be tricked, and we know how they spend time to reflect voting for Trump or Harris, and it went with kind of agony, intellectual, social, political. Those forces were showing kind of struggle, but finally, the Muslim decided to go that way, and the other was decided to go that way. But they were based their decision not in naive idea, not in uninformed. They have collected information, they have contacted, they have interacted, they have communicated, they have received invitations, and they have dialogued, and then from there they made the decision. So with that, uh, next time is we are going to compare the triple I, T, and ISPU, and from the signature programs for triple IT, it is advancing Islamic education, as we said. And the second one is they have a journal, very big, sophisticated journal. Uh, it's called the American Journal Islamic Social Sciences, mainly psychology. This journal is very advanced, the best you can make, and articles are peer reviewed. It's not statistics. It's not analysis. It's not. It is peer review, which is the highest credential that you can get. While the ISPU, as we said, they are only focusing on statistics, data, and analyzing that. But with that, even with that, they fall short of the faith lens. They just bring the number, put the indication, and stop there. Why? So describing the behavior of Muslims, but they don't go to the question why Muslims behave this way. As we said a minute ago, Gaza conflict and problem and crisis and matters were behind the behaviors of Muslims show. And also faith and belief and culture was also a factor. So they don't go that far to bring why Muslims behave this way. They are not naive. They are well informed. They are resilient. They are foresighted. They take a good step forward, but also after a through thinking and process. So that is what you can tell. The triple IT, they stayed in the theoretical frame and only limited area where they are basically used. Scholars, thinkers, writers, professors, the purpose was Islamic education, advancing Islamic education, but whatever product they have, with the good quality they have, it never made its way to the classroom of the Muslims school. Uh, the second matters is ISPU, as we said, because they stop at a certain point where they just describe and analyze and present insights and opinions about whatever the statistics say, but they don't go further. Why? Why? And that is what we need to, that is the gap we think that someone has to fill up. And we are going to see if Yaqin is doing that, or if Qalam is doing that, or Zaytuna College is doing that. With that, we stop here. جزاكم الله خير, and we'll see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.